What's good, y'all? Welcome back to the Verdependent podcast, where we depend on the Verde and Black for our everyday vibes. This week, we previewed the season opener at Q2 versus Sporting Kansas City, review what experts have to say for Austin FC in 2025, and do our annual season's predictions before closing out the episode with a stoppage time rundown of the hottest Austin FC, MLS, and World Footy storylines of the last week. Paul, how are you, bro?
I'm good, man. It's a little cold out here, but just getting ready for Saturday, man. How about you?
I'm good, man. I'm good. And I'm Logan Bartlett. Paul Flettes. Obviously, y'all know.
Yeah.
Y'all probably know this by now.
Exactly.
I was excited to get to our first preheated take of the official 2025 season. Paul, give us your preheated take as of today on the eve of our opening game of the season.
Happy to do that, my G. And I'll start off with quite a preheated take, if I do say so myself. And it is that SKC will not register a shot on target come Saturday.
Ooh-wee!
And no explanation, because that's not the point here.
No, I hear that. I was going to start picking up stats. I was like, well,
I know you are.
When was the last time Austin FC ever stopped the team from getting a shot on target?
Right.
I'm not here for all that.
The one thing I will say is that they will have played Wednesday night. So just a friendly reminder to the listener that we are playing a not fully 100%, rested team.
Yeah. 2 days
for our
rest.
Season opener at home with Zvatak in the starting 11. Anyway, go ahead.
Let's go. There we go. double preheated take. Call back to last week, so the week before.
That's right.
My preheated take is that all DPs who see the field on Saturday will register a goal or assist on the score sheet.
Heard that. So two possible, right?
2, possibly 3 if Uzuni's ready, but I don't. Who knows if he is? I mean, he's here. We'll get to that later. But potentially, you never know. But I'm thinking at least the 2 that for sure will start will probably get some action.
100%.
They're not probably. They're going to do it. They're going to do it. And with that, let's talk about this game, dude. It's finally here. The 2025 season begins this Saturday at the fortress that is Q2 Stadium, where the Verde and Black will host a new-look Sporting Kansas City, who saw multiple longtime starters in Tim Malia, Johnny Russell, and Alan Pulido leave the squad this offseason. Let's start with the most important question. What are the vibes as we approach match day 1? Paul?
I mean, I think ever since the first day of preseason came around and we knew that we were in for quite a shakeup with, Wolf being out and then all the signings to come, I think the vibes are as good and as positive and as Verde as they can be, brother. I mean, that's all there is to say about it, man. How about you?
How would you compare them to like opening season, our first ever season, or even let's say following 2022 after our Western Conference Finals run? Like, where does it compare to those, the vibes?
It's tough to put it up there with the inaugural season because I think everyone was just kind of ready. Although I will say maybe I'm differentiating between the home opener in 21 versus the actual first game against LAFC. So I guess I'll put it above that one because I feel like obviously our season opener was a little muted because of COVID and all that good stuff.
Exactly.
Right. But this has the feeling of rejuvenation, of just kind of excitement and all those good things. And in a way that kind of puts it above everything else, even 22 and 23.
Yeah, I would agree. I think it's up there as some of the most positive vibes I've had in years. Yeah. Going into a season, And it's crazy that it's been years already,
5, bro. Super senior.
Yeah. It's crazy, dude. Like time. It is moving. It moves.
It'd be doing that.
It do. What are your game day plans, man? I know you're going to be doing some Murga stuff. Like, what do you got going on?
For sure. So I think the big thing is just kind of staying warm and dry because for folks that haven't checked out the weather yet, I mean, it's supposed to be kind of a nasty one here in Austin. But, I mean, pregame, I think we're going to do our best to head over to Hop Squad and just kind of hang out and see some friends, new and old. Nice. And I think we're doing a little bit of a march, if I'm not mistaken, to open things up.
So. Yeah.
And so, just trying to make sure that I'm ready for that. And, yeah, man. How about you? What you got going on?
I'll probably join you for the March. That's my plan, hopefully.
Heard that.
I know Lojo is going to be coming up, potentially with his lady. So I got to coordinate that ahead of time, or else he'll get a little like, what are we doing?
Right.
What are we doing? You know?
Yeah.
So I got to make sure that we're on the same page because we'll probably end up riding together.
Yeah.
But yeah, probably I want to do the March. I think this will be one of at least one game where I get there right when gates open and stand for an hour and a half. No promises the rest of the season. I've done that for
You got to
3
do it
years
at least
straight.
once, brother. You got to do it at least once.
I know. I've done it for years straight at this point, and my legs are tired.
Yeah. No.
Shit hasn't hit the same since I tore my PCL, you know?
That's right.
It's been a little rough.
At the ripe old age of, remind me when that injury occurred?
I was 28.
Oh, my God.
Yeah. I was about to be 29, though. So,
that's right.
You know, and now here we are, almost 30, with creaky knees, and who cares? Whatever. I don't want to stand anymore, Paul.
Right. I hear that.
Well, it's well known the roster shakeup that Austin underwent this offseason, so let's have some fun and predict the starting 11 for this weekend.
Yes.
We saw Austin come out in both a 4-4-2 and a 4-3-3 in the preseason. Maybe some others, but, for sure those two. So for the purpose of this exercise, let's stick with the tried and true 4-3-3 we have come to expect in Austin. So who starts at goalkeeper? I know it's a big one.
I mean, do we want to say it at the same time? Maybe a little lag in here?
Yeah.
On the count of 3? 1, 2, 3. Stuver?
Damian Loss.
Oh, my God.
I'm kidding. No, Brad Stuver, obviously the easiest question to answer in this lineup. Brad Stuver, of course, for his, how many matches he played straight at this point, not including the injury. He's on top of it. So let's go defense left to right, starting at left back. Who do you expect to start?
That one for me, I love the man, but I think he's going to come off, and I am referring to Jean Komanich in this manner. But to start off, I do have Guilherme Biru.
Yeah, I'm in the same camp. The two center backs, who do you have?
Well, we've already talked about one at length this offseason, and that's Svatak. Starting off the pairing, and then I'm probably going to go with Heinz Ike to be the other guy.
Okay, I see you're reading the MLS 2025 season prediction, starting 11 probably.
Hey, no, I'm not.
I'm thinking Svatak and Julio myself. I think we stick with Julio. We paid him to be a starter, and he has been his whole career here.
This is true.
Right back. I think it's an easy one.
Yeah, that one is an easy one. We've got Dessler on there, right?
We got Dessler. Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Let's look at the midfield three. Pick any three. We don't know how they're going to line up yet. Could be a double pivot. Could be a 1-2 thing. Who knows?
Right.
Who are the three midfielders you'll see?
The first one I've got, he's been here from the beginning. The new 8, Danny Pereira.
Yep, that's an obvious one. Who else?
Yeah. Ilie Sanchez.
I'm thinking the same.
Probably going to be the other one.
Do we see one of the new guys?
Do what now?
Do we see one of the new guys fill out that third spot?
So that's where I'm a little bit hesitant right now to go off rip, but I'm tempted to say that Savovic will actually go ahead and get the nod for the start.
I think he should too. He should. I don't really know who else. I mean, you could put in Owen Wolf up there for systematic longevity.
Sure.
But it's a new system all in. So, Dad's not coach anymore.
Right.
He's got to prove it all over again. So, not to say it's a nepotism thing. I'm just saying we got a new coach and it happened to be his dad. So that's why I said that he's not a Nepo baby. He earned it. Anyway, probably Savovic. Front three, left to right, left wing. Who starts?
So on the left wing, our boy Osman Bukhari.
Ooh, I like it. Do you think he starts on the left or is he reserved for the right? Where does he end up now that, it's kind of his team?
Well, I mean, the last couple of outings that we've seen from Bukhari, I believe he has been on the left and kind of drifting in towards the right-hand side, at least when he scored his brace against Nashville this past week. That's where his attack came from. So that's I mean, that's where I'm at.
Profile of left winger that we've seen on this team historically, right? We want a shot creator, a guy who penetrates and creates in the box. So I could agree there. Up top, feels easy.
CJ, right? I mean, oh, sorry.
Hey, one day, you never know.
Right. Yeah. No, you're absolutely right. BV9 to get the nod.
And then on the right, I mean, it's kind of a toss-up between, a guy in Obrion who's been here a while, and and the new guy Uzuni, if he's fit and ready to play.
Sure.
Who do you think gets the nod up the final forward spot?
That's going to be Hader, more than likely, number 7, to get the start. My understanding is that Nico might have gone out and said that we don't want to push anything necessarily right away with Mirto. And so, understandably so, it might not be, this first game against SKC that we see him getting minutes.
Yeah, I think you're right. He might come off the bench. I think he should. But
if we're on track for the 4-0 that I have put the whole house on, then absolutely I see him maybe getting 10 minutes or so.
And so we have Stuver holding it down. We have Bidu, Zvatak, one of Heinzike or Cascante, Dessler, Danny, Ilie, hopefully Savovic. We got Bukhari, Vasquez, and assumingly Obrion as our starting 11. Coin toss for Heinzike or Cascante. I think we're going to see the national team guy, though, get the start myself. You teed it up perfectly with the 4-0 prediction. Is that all in seriousness what you think will happen after 90 minutes on Saturday?
After 90, bro, I think I've got us going on a 3-0 to open up.
I like it.
In the cold, hey, we are big fans of season openers in the cold. I think the last time we had this happen, we put 5 on a team. So
on a team that ended up being decent. Right. So, you never know.
Yeah.
I like your preheated take of the no shots on target, but I think we do let one slip through most likely, and we get, I'm thinking a 2-1 win for Austin.
You hate us, dude.
No, I love us, and I'm
no, you're being pragmatic, and I appreciate that. Yes, you're balancing my over optimistic, absolutely unreal take there. But yes.
Anyway, 5-0, Austin wins, and then we go 34-0.
Absolutely.
So, absolutely. Let's look at some experts' predictions. Our little halftime segment here. We saw MLS experts from MLS Soccer Staff, Tom Bogert and Ben Wright from Give Me Sports, and Sports Illustrated. They've all given their takes on how the season standings will pan out come the MLS playoffs in October.
Mm-hmm.
Hogan and Wright have Austin finishing the season in 9th. MLS Soccer Staff have us finishing in 6th. And Sports Illustrated has us finishing as the 7th best team in the Western Conference. Paul, how did these so-called experts' predictions match your expectations of the club for this season?
Well, I think it's safe to say that based off of those rankings there that you listed off, their expectations are pretty in line with mine because all of those places are playoff places. And for me, that is all we need to get to in order for the season to be a success is to punch our ticket into the dance and from there, let the magic of MLS playoffs be upon us. But
which we have a winning record in the MLS playoffs historically.
We do. We do.
That's pretty cool.
I like that.
So where do you think we finished? Do you think we finished 6th, 7th, 9th, somewhere higher?
I've got us going 4th.
Ooh. Mm-hmm. I like that. That means we host at least one game at Q2, if I'm not mistaken.
Correct. I mean, yeah. Given the playoff format, I don't know if we've seen any updates as to how this the 2025 rendition is going to go. But yeah. I mean, at least to start it off at Q2,
we'll see what that looks like. That's a good point.
Yeah, because it's home and away. But
they change it every year. Yeah. We'll see how that. We'll find out in September what the playoff format's going to be.
Right. How about you, man? Where are you feeling us?
Looking around the league, which I definitely did in detail.
Don't do that.
Today. Actually, I literally did. I looked at every single team's season predictions in preparation for our best ball draft tonight, which you'll hear more about.
Yes.
I don't. There's a lot of change in the West.
It's already too much thought into this, brother. I just need a number. I'm kidding. Go ahead. No, please. What?
3rd.
Oh man.
I like it. No, I think the high end talent on this club is on paper what you would see being a top end team in this conference.
Sure.
And I think we have a good mix of long time depth, right? Guys who've been here a long time who have either cemented their role as a starter or add just good quality play.
Right. Familiarity with the league and all that. Yeah,
exactly. As well as a few other, staunch MLS guys in Ilie, and then some wild cards and guys like Dubrsarski. that can add some real value for this club with varying levels of ceiling. So I'm going to go on the high end. We finish third, and I'll be very happy. Now, I will qualify that and say if we make a deep run in, say, the Open Cup, for example, we could see. I would be okay with us prioritizing those later games in place of late game MLS.
Higher,
the latter third or latter half of the MLS season, because that is automatic qualification into different competitions, and that's pretty cool. And I think we have the depth to at least scrape out some results in the league at that point.
Yeah.
Or at least we will come the summer transfer window. So all that to say is qualifying it. If we go deep in the Open Cup, we might see maybe a more like 5th or 6th, and I'm okay with it.
Right.
But I think
now be real with me here, because I want to pitch this one to you and to the listeners as well. Okay. But what is your thought if we do somehow end up all the way as low as 9th?
I think injury will have struck or something along those lines.
Sure.
I don't think this team, and I'm being, my Verde glasses are on. I don't see this roster as it is finishing that low. I can understand the experts' choice in that, given the uncertainty, a lot of new faces from coaching staff to players in the field. So I understand it, but I think we greatly exceed expectations, which are mostly just unknown at this point, right?
Correct.
That's the entire argument from every article and the few sentences they provided. It's like, oh, a lot of change. Who's going to feed them the ball?
Exactly.
So, I would assume there'd be a heavy qualifier there if we finish somewhere around 9th, and it'd be hard for me to be mad at that. Now, if everybody's healthy, the system just isn't working out, different conversation. But I don't want to get there yet. It's good vibes right now, dude. I'm all positive.
My fault, dog. My fault.
Good vibes. All right. Let's take a quick break before we talk in the long term about our season's expectations. We've hinted a little bit at it here and there, right, just now, but we'll get a little more in depth and have a larger discussion. So we'll be right back. Paul, let's talk Memento. With the MLS season starting and our return to Q2 Stadium, now is the perfect time to download the Memento app. Paul, we've mentioned before that Memento serves as a digital scrapbook for your Austin FC journey. What do you mean? What do we mean when we say that?
Well, when we say scrapbook, my guy, I definitely think that we're talking about the fact that you can actually just take a picture of the event that you're at and download that into the memento or the ticket, so to speak, for that event. It allows you to track those games as you've attended them, the final score and all those different stats, who you were with, and just reliving those vibes by snapping a photo to reminisce.
Yeah, I think that's a perfect summary of what Memento does. My favorite feature of Memento is being able to see your favorite team's record. And this is something we've talked about in the past. We did a little exercise looking to see, like, hey, in every game I've attended for Austin FC, what is the team's record when I'm there?
Are you a lucky charm, right?
Yeah, if you're a lucky charm. And I think that's so fun because you get to see, just like a scrapbook, you see the long term, right? You can look back and see the photo album of all the different games you attended, all the homies you were with, really encapsulate the vibe. We really can't recommend Memento enough for our fellow Austin FC fans. Snap a selfie with the crew, tag the homies, and relive your unique experience at every match. Paul, also, word on the street is that Memento has a new feature for our live music goers.
Yeah, so I actually just went to a concert with Kate last Friday for Valentine's Day over at the Concourse Project, and I was able to, as soon as I got back home, put that into the app and tag Kate and post all the pictures that I took from the show. It was awesome. Yeah. And now I've pretty much got that to look forward to and look back on whenever I just want to feel like it.
Yeah. So for live music goers, you can track your music going histories or your attendance as well, right?
Right.
Pretty much any show. If they're doing it at the Concourse Project, they're doing it everywhere. They're doing it at Moody Amphitheater, Moody Theater, Moody Center. They're doing it every place.
All that good. Yeah.
Exactly. And just like that with sports, you can track Austin FC. You could track the Longhorns. You could track the San Antonio Spurs. You could track the Houston Astros and literally any other team you follow that's major league sport, professional sport. So We have a unique link that helps the podcast when you use it to download Memento. It'll be in the description of this video, and it is in our link tree, which you could find on Twitter and Instagram in our bios. Download Memento to help out the pod. Thank you.
Thanks.
And we're back. If it's not obvious by now, we are clearly high on Austin FC's potential this year and have high expectations. Paul, is it fair to say that for Austin FC this season, it is playoffs or bust as far as expectations go?
Not only fair, my brother, it is necessary.
Preach. Tell us more.
I've just had enough of not making the playoffs, brother. That's where I'm at.
I hear that.
Like I'm on the edge of the cliff right now saying that, and if it doesn't happen, I just take a step. I'll do it right now. No. In all seriousness, this is definitely one of those, like the way that fans were saying, like the fifth game of the season was a must win. This is definitely, in the fifth season of the club's history. Yeah. It's got to be a playoff or.
Where is that line drawn for you? If at what game, if we're not good, are you like out? We're done. Start over. Scrap it all.
I can't do that, man. As real fan TM, I have to stick through it, even when it's rough. I mean, we've been there, right? We've been there before.
Yeah, so, we have. Yeah. Many times.
Yeah.
over 4 seasons. Many people were sad.
Yes.
A lot having those conversations. I think going back to the main point, it is playoffs or bust. What bust means isn't, in my opinion, isn't as serious as bust in years past, right? If we had a bust season, it was wolf out all day, every day for months straight. Mm-hmm. I think in this case, we would expect change of a different sort, whether it's tactically, whether it's personnel wise that aren't matching up to the other quality of talent we have on the team.
Right.
I mean, I can't imagine we would buy out any of the DPs at this point, having only been one full season with them. Even Bukhari would have still been his first full season. So I think we are.
There are still some bad contracts out there that we could definitely buy out, though.
Yeah, it's possible, but I think most of them are going to be ending going into 2026, or at least an option year, and we can start cutting those out slowly by just not re-signing them, similar to like an Alex Ring contract that the team was clearly ready to move on from, but our hearts weren't. Yep. I think after the season we have a lot of flexibility, if I'm not mistaken. We'll have to check with the North End boys to confirm, but I know a chunk of this contracts for sure. They start their option years in 26. So
hell yeah.
All that to say is we are moving forward with this core, for better or for worse, for at least a couple years. But I am truly confident it's playoffs for us. I mean, really. And I'm hopeful. And please make it happen, or I'll be so sad.
Please.
Where will we end the season in the standings? We talked about this already. I forgot that I put that question there and forgot to remove it. So 4th, 3rd, it's going to be the season that it is, man. And I think we're going to see even more so, and I mentioned this already, with the Open Cup run at the same time, we'll really see the mentality of a guy like Nico Esteves for how he treats this important competition. Also Copa Tejas at the same time. Like, I know that it's not as, it is something to the team. It's something that is just MLS play still, though, right? It's still MLS competition. But I'm just curious to see the type of mentality he brings to these tournaments, to the derby games, to that type of thing.
And if I can just add another bit there for the Nico Esteves point, I think the club has done such a good job of trying to position him in a positive light with the fan base. Agreed. From his signing back in, what was that, November? It would be such a slap in the face, I think, this year for him to have had all of that pomp and circumstance, and then when it actually comes down to it, for those games to play out in the sense that it looks like to the fans that are watching, that it's like, hey, man, that was a shit lineup that you brought out. What was up with that? You said,
it gives a new avenue of communication that we haven't seen in our history. Right. At least it sets the stage for that. If the expectation, it seems like from the fan base, is that he's going to be more communicative with the fan base than his predecessor was, at least. And so I think it does set this it puts him in a different light than we've seen from our head coach, our coaching staff. And it was smart of the club, and
it's intentional,
of him, right? To say like, hey, if I'm doing this, this is what we do, right? Like, I want to have a much different experience, or I want the fans to have a much different experience with their head coach than they've had in the past. Where there's maybe less, for better or for worse, Josh Wolf kind of rode on his laurels of the coach that put this club together. And that was cool for a couple of years, especially when we made the conference finals. But as we continued to dwell in the dumps, it did not work out. Again, we don't need to rehash that in depth, but it seemed it was very intentional by Estevez and the club to right that wrong. And
it's an easy thing that, you know, you can get right. And the fact that he's choosing to get it right early on, again, you know.
Well played.
Well
played. I want to rapid fire some end of season awards.
Let's do
these are things we've talked about before. I'm realizing now that I didn't actually prepare any answers for this, so truly top of the dome from your boy. So, starting with the obvious one, top goal scorer. Who's it going to be, Paul?
I've got our Golden Boot winner. I don't know how else to put this, but it's going to be the same guy that led in goals this preseason. Our number 11, Osman Bukhari.
Ooh wee! I'm a fan of that.
Him.
I like Bukhari as that choice.
Yeah,
and. Oh, man, I think...
Nope, you must pick someone different.
I know. I'm pretty sure I said he was going to be the guy a couple episodes ago, too. So now I have to find somebody. No, I think it's going to be Vasquez. I think that's why we bring him in.
Oh.
I think Brandon Vasquez is maybe just barely, right? It might be just by a goal or two. But I think he's going to lead this club in scoring. And I think his goal is to do so, right? I think he wants to be the goal scorer up top that we've never had on this club. So
Now. We just got someone in from Albania...
True.
Who said that his goal is to score and break records?
He said, didn't he say score and assist and break records?
So, he said something with the just the biggest balls ever. Yeah.
True.
He said that.
That's why I'm saying I think it's going to be close. I think it's going to be like Vasquez has 15, Uzuni has 13, Bukhari has 12, that kind of thing. Again, that would be crazy to have all three DPs.
I love that.
Contributing like that, but I'm here for it. Yeah. Let's go to top assist man. Who racks up the most assists on this club?
So that one, I've got the man that I just talked about that arrived on the plane. The man is Mirta Uzuni.
Ooh, I like it. I like it. I'm trying to remember if I made any of these predictions already and said Bukhari every time. So I'm just going to, if I did, my bad, because I'm going to say Danny Pereira as the top assist man for the club this year.
Okay.
I think he has a truly breakout year on the score sheet, right? Obviously, he's been consistently very good in the midfield in this league for years now. But I think he comes up, puts it together, and becomes the facilitator that the MLS experts don't think we have.
Right.
I think
that's between him and Sabovic, because, I mean, you've got Sabovic in his prime right now.
True.
And
let alone Bukhari, Uzuni, like guys that will likely feed. I think the little 1-2 play between Uzuni and Vasquez is going to be ridiculous,
right?
And unexpected from what the pundits expected.
Is that going to be hints and memories of that beautiful goal? Was that against Miami, where it's just that tiki taka fucking ring? Exactly.
Yep, ring.
Driussi
Fagunda is all together.
Yeah.
I was thinking more like a Cole Palmer, Nico Jackson, but I'm picking up what you're putting down.
I see what you mean. You mean.
Like either way, I'm going to be happy. So I wish we saw more of that. The good old days.
Yeah.
Breakout player of the year. This is the most unexpectedly good performance from a player throughout the season. Who is it for you?
For me, it's going to be Basard Savovic. I get the feeling that the new guy from Djurgårdens is going to come in and absolutely put his stamp in the midfield. And
I love it.
I think we're going to see some awesome play from him.
I love it. I'm going to say Svatak. I think he has a defensive player of the year, like not just for the because you might put somebody because the league makes you pick 5 awards to choose a player for, and we happen to choose him for that one. But I think it's going to be more of like he earned it, and he's going to be in legitimate contention for defensive player of the year.
Yeah,
that's my loose definition of breakout coming out there because I already think he's him. But given that he hasn't played consistently yet, I think we should expect him to.
God,
On
and then
that
there's
same
Dessler,
note,
brother.
bro, I know. On that
This
same
team is
note,
so stacked. Okay, sorry.
I know you're good. On that same note, I'm going to answer first because I just teed myself up for this. Defensive Player of the Year for the club. I'm going to go with Svatak again for obvious reasons. Who's yours?
Just put me down for Svatak as well,
Yeah, I
because
like it.
number
I like
5
it. Please
is
don't let us
him.
down, King. Don't let us down.
Yeah,
expectations are very high for you, my dog.
right.
Cook on
That
them.
reminds me, I need to order that shirt. Damn. Anyway, sorry.
Yo, yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
I forgot about that. You do.
Yeah.
We'll figure that out.
Yeah.
Most improved player. This is a little more for the homers, like the guys who've been in MLS for a little bit, but most improved.
So for this one, oh man, I feel like my interpretation of this is going to be in the sense that not like he was bad, but you already kind of brought this point on when you were talking about top assist man. But my most improved is actually going to be Danny P.
Ooh, I like it.
In the sense that, like, given the 8 under Nico Estevez here in Austin, I really think that we're going to see his play, specifically in the final third, his decision making, something that was always kind of just a little bit behind the rest of the players around him. Not always. I mean, there were some times where he was really good at slipping some balls in, but I think this year we're going to really see him kind of break out, so to speak.
Again,
and
on
be
the
most
score
improved.
more so. Like the guy that we know plays very well in this club, but will have more opportunity for the counting stats that appeal to people who look back at
and
stats.
Also honorable mention, Jean Kolmanich.
Yeah. I was thinking a profile like Jean Kolmanich. I'm looking at guys like Kolmanich, Gallagher, even like if you want to go the opposite way, like CJ. I think with more opportunity, he might be given opportunity and sees it.
Right.
All I have to say is, though, I'm going to go with John Gallagher. And I say that because I think he'll remind everyone that he is that Swiss Army knife, or Irish Army knife in this case, where he is just able to be a solid player across the field. I think we'll see him probably at both outside back positions, possibly both wings too, maybe even striker if like the injury bug or the depth bug comes up, but we need a guy to play up in the middle. I think we see him play 4+ positions and do them all very well, or at least above average. So I think it's going to be a recapturing of that 2022 All-Star season that we saw. Not saying he's going to be an all-star, but just in terms of impact on the club, I think it'll be John Gallagher. And then lastly, this is the Felipe Martin / Hector Jimenez Locker Room Vibes Player of the Year award. This is a guy who's here for the vibes, who's going to make sure that we have a good time and that the club is supported. And maybe he won't see that much playing time. I mean, he could. You never know. But definitely just the vibes guy. Who is it?
So for me, I've actually got our favorite Costa Rican, Julio Cascante, as that day one. Hey, I've been here. I was a little bit familiar with the vibes from Mate con Vos, so I know how to bring this energy. You know what I'm saying? Like,
I like it. For me, it was between him and Obrian.
I think Obi's a good shot.
Again, this is more the vibes. We picked Felipe and Hector because they were very much the locker room guys,
right?
But they brought vibes with them as well. And Obrian's going to play a lot of games, right? I already said that a couple episodes ago. He's going to play a lot of games, but I think he's going to make sure the vibes in this club stay real, and I love that for him. So, hell yeah, dude! I'm excited for the season, man.
It's here.
It's 3 days away.
It is
2 days away for the listener.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Here we go, dude. All right, let's run through the stoppage time, and then we'll see you on Saturday, everybody. Oh my gosh. Okay. Starting first, we mentioned this already. Let's talk about it again. Give it the time it's worth. Mirto Uzuni has arrived in Austin as of this last week. The most expensive player in Austin FC history is here. What are your thoughts?
Also, the most expensive kit that I purchased.
Yeah. Did you get a new Uzuni one?
I did. Number 10. I'm ready for you, my guy.
I love it, dude. Well, that's all we need to say right there.
Yeah.
I'm excited. The Verde Fest is this Friday at Meanwhile Brewing. Paul, what can Austin FC fans expect from this?
It's a awesome little festival that the Murga has Gosh, yes, pretty much since first season, we've gotten together always before the season opener to just kind of celebrate, the community around Austin FC, and recently we've started doing like musical showcases. So folks that are in different bands that are members like within Merga and stuff, you'll see some bands performing there. So it'll be a good time. I know it's going to be a little wet, a little cold. Bring your gloves, bring your jackets and all that good stuff. But your boys will be there.
Yeah, I was going to say, who else is there, Paul?
Yeah. I mean, we'll be there. I know We Are Austin TV folks are going to be down there. I believe Richie and the team over at Otro Por Favor is going to be there. So a couple other content creators. Do what?
Maybe Moon Tower. Can't remember if they're going to be doing that.
I can't remember. But, the SGs as well. I know LV Anthem is going to be set up, I think, with the vans that they did the collab with. Those are pretty cool, man. I might pick up a pair low-key.
Yeah, they're dope. And when Paul says we'll be there, like, we're there in a quote-unquote official capacity, meaning we'll have a little table set up.
Yes.
We're thinking of having a little bit of entertainment. Depending on where we're set up and where the music's at, we might do a little content with listeners and folks that are in attendance. Yeah, stop by, take a seat with us. We'll do some, little Stoppage Austin FC points. Maybe we'll get some social media engagement that way with y'all. You'll post some videos of you and stuff, and engage with our listeners. But yeah, come say hi. We'll be doing our best to stay warm. We'll have some seats to sit at, maybe a little entertainment, and we'll be giving out stickers and such. So, yeah, we'll be there. Moving on. USL unveils plans for a D1 league to rival MLS. Oh, shit. What does this mean, Paul?
It means that soccer in this country is still very much a wild, wild west, it feels like at times. And this is just a reminder that, like, we have been in an MLS bubble for a really long time.
Yeah.
And all the while, the folks over at USL, they've been slowly scheming, as they say. And it's going to be really interesting to see how that unveils 2 years from now. But I wonder, they might be up to something.
It begs a lot of questions too, with like, what kind of investment are they expecting? How can they compete for salaries, right? Like roster salaries, and because MLS isn't that high of a bar on the bottom end, but it's an extremely high bar on the top end.
Correct.
Right. Guy could be making $80K, which is a good salary. But how can USL compete with the mid to higher level paid players to bring in equal talent? So interesting to see. Curious if it'll end up just being kind of like a feeder league for, hopefully larger US talent. Cause that's a big push right now with US soccer. Anyway, exciting to see. Lots to ponder. We'll keep all updated as we hear more. Yeah. Let's do a little J League check-in. I want to highlight this specifically because this shit's fun, dude. Okay, so Gamba Osaka, and I'm assuming it's Cerezo Osaka. Who knows? But the two Osaka teams in the J League faced off in the Osaka Derby this last week, and it did not disappoint. Cerezo Osaka won 5-2 on the back of left winger Sota Kitano. I bring this up. I know I'm just saying a bunch of stuff that nobody knows what it means. 1, 5-2 games, fun as shit. 2, the way that the J League disseminates like highlights and updates on games is beautiful, dude. So they had like this, they have a website that is essentially just like a Instagram stories, if that makes sense. Like you click a link to see the highlights and it just brings you to, 14 straight clips of like the highlights of the games as if you're clicking through an Instagram story. And man, the atmosphere of those games, fun as shit.
Hell yeah, brother.
Like raucous crowds,
right?
Techers, tiki-taka, 1v1 cooking people, dudes slotting in bangers to the corner. Like I was surprised. I mean, it's my first true peek at competitive J League play. Right. And I was like, oh shit. Like
we got to remember this is the league where Kaoru Mitoma, cut his teeth and proceeded to cook Chelsea last week.
Right.
But anyway,
these dudes are skilled. It's a very heavy league. I mean, at least from the small sample size of the first couple of weeks of the league.
Right.
Like, good team, good offenses, some suspect defenses, but like we said in the little previews in the past, like there's a lot of parity in this league, and it's just a fun kind of roller coaster to follow.
Yeah.
But man, that Cerezo Osaka team, they were cooking boys, dude.
Hell
Like
yeah.
those wingers were fucking chopping, hitting.
Have to check it out.
70-mile-per-hour bangers to the bottom corner of the goal.
Sheesh. Right.
Keeper had no chance. Just like crazy.
Burning holes through that net, brother.
I can talk about it all day because truly I was like, oh shit, I watched it over and over again because it's just great. Like it felt like European football, right? Like in terms of just the excitement, the fire and the passion, and then the crowd reaction. Yeah. They're chanting, they're all over it. It was a good time.
Oh yeah.
Very Q2-esque to bring it more local.
I feel that. And actually, if you don't mind, I want to actually take this next point.
Since, please.
We're talking about, big atmospheres and awesome footy and all that. And to take it to our Serie A point, I have to laugh for a little bit because AC Milan got their ass whooped. I don't want to say ass whooped, but they got knocked out of UCL, losing 2-1 in aggregate to Feyenoord. Shout out, was it last year's best ball striker, Julian Carranza, that we had?
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah. Death blow to AC Milan.
Yeah.
Damn. Yeah, man.
Good for us.
Right.
Not so much for AC Milan tonight, though.
Yeah, so AC Milan not doing so hot, but
tough.
Tough.
Good action though. Good action nonetheless.
For sure. Continue.
And then lastly, I know you're fine. Thank you for bringing that point. Lastly, we always ended on Chelsea. We're going to keep it going. Chelsea women's come back 2-1 against Everton to keep the wins coming. That's the only Chelsea we're going to talk about right now because they're the one that's winning.
Absolutely.
And in good fashion, too. This was a fun one. Tell us more.
Yeah. So they conceded pretty early, actually, but then on the backs of Myra Ramirez and Lauren James, she's coming back and she's doing the same thing that her brother does, bro, which is just delivering. And I think it was a 90+2 stoppage time winner, man.
Yep.
It's you love to see it, and I'm glad you said this because this is the only Chelsea I recognize right now. Just only dubs in the column here. Do not talk to me about the men's team. I don't know who they are. I don't know what a Cole Palmer is. He doesn't know.
Chelsea versus Brighton in 2022. We saw that, or 2023. Sorry, we saw that.
We did.
We saw that,
and it was a blessing.
That's the only game we went to. Chelsea won.
That's it.
No, I'm kidding.
Exactly.
They're a team that keeps on winning, and we're going to keep on talking about it because this shit's fun.
Yes.
All right. Let's close it up, man.
Let's do it.
We appreciate y'all kicking it with us on this week's episode of the Verdependent podcast. It's game week. We're back finally. Expect a lot more of the same. Game previews, game reviews, a lot of Austin FC stuff coming your way. I'm Logan Bartlett. You can catch me on Twitter at LobarVHLM.
And I'm Paul Fletes. You can catch me on Twitter at PaulAndrewFC. That's a full government name on that.
Government name. Keep the chatter going online by following at the Verdependent on socials. And come say hi on Friday at Meanwhile for Verde Fest. And yeah, we'll see everybody at Q2 this Saturday. I'm excited,
dude. It's going to be a great time. It's coming.
It's going to be euphoric. I'm so ready. All right. Peace, everybody.
Take care.
Oh, why are you screaming at me?
Oh my God.